Hello, everyone. Today I bring you an Indian movie, Kaabil, 2017. Rohan is a blind person. His eyes cannot see. His world is less light but more than others can see. He lives independently, confident and strong. He has a good and optimistic attitude, kind and simple, same as normal people. The protagonist Supriya is also blind. They live powerfully, not inferior to people with normal vision. They can cook with fire, use mobile phones, can distinguish the denomination of banknotes, have a stable job, have a high level of English, can dance, and play piano. The most important thing is that they believe in the beauty of life. When God closes this door, He will open another door for you. This is true. Rohan is very sensitive to sounds. The kind Rohan will help the child next door to fix the bicycle. Facing the child's doubtful eyes, Rohan always answers, "Even if I can't see the road ahead, I will still illuminate the future world with my heart." This day is very important to Rohan. Under the introduction of a friend, Rohan is going to have a blind date with a blind girl named Supriya. Rohan was nervous and excited. After meeting, Supriya told Rohan that she lived an independent life and never relying on anyone. She didn't feel that the world was so bad. Like every ordinary person in the world, she looked at and felt the world with her heart. We are blind but not weak. Rohan was deeply moved. Although he couldn't see Supriya's face, he felt the fit of their souls. Rohan suddenly fell in love with this confident and positive girl. In the following days, Rohan would often suddenly appear in Supriya's place, where he studied piano, and even invited Supriya to dance with him. I have to say that it was Supriya who opened Rohan's heart. Rohan plucked up the courage to pursue his own happiness. Supriya was also taken by Rohan. Passionately moved, she accepted Rohan and decided to be with Rohan. The two blind people just cuddled with each other and did what couples would do. One day when they went to the mall, there were too many people. The two of them were dispersed by the crowd. Supriya anxiously asked for help. Rohan was very anxious and shouted Supriya's name loudly, but there were really too many people in the mall. How many people were there? He could hear his call. Rohan walked to the stage through voice groping. He borrowed the microphone from the host and got the microphone. Rohan called out Supriya's name loudly. Supriya was also anxiously looking for Rohan, who listened to Rohan's voice. He responded loudly. With the help of passers-by, walked from the stage to the stage and walked to Rohan's side like a lover who had reunited after a long time. Afterwards, Rohan proposed to Supriya. "It was you who encouraged me to bravely pursue happiness. My world has never been light, but I have never felt the darkness. It is today that I am separated from you. I really feel the darkness of the world and feel lonely." Supriya was deeply moved. The two came together happily. Soon, the two people went to see the new house, ready to create their own beautiful life. When we got married, Rohan said, "Supriya, don't be afraid. My goal in life now is to make myself stronger. It seems that a bright future is right in front of us, but there are always accidents that break this beauty." Rohan is an excellent voice actor, has super dubbing ability, and received praise in the circle. One night, Rohan and Supriya were back home. On the way, I suddenly met Amit, a rich kid. Amit is usually a small bastard, relying on his father's power and power. He molested Supriya in front of Rohan. Rohan was very angry and beat Amit. Supriya felt that Rohan was by his side. She felt at ease. She believed Rohan will guard her for life. But Amit held a grudge because of what happened last time. He took advantage of Rohan's absence and brought another bearded gangster into Rohan's house and raped Supriya. Rohan returned home desperately to call the police. Police came to the scene to collect evidence, and then told Rohan to obtain Supriya's. The medical report is the most important thing, but Amit has already bought. The police, instead of taking two people to the hospital, he took them to an abandoned warehouse. The next day, the two were thrown into the sea. Finally, Rohan took them. Supriya came to the hospital. The doctor told them that the best time for evidence collection had passed. The evidence was gone, and of course the police would not open the case. Supriya, sad and desperate, told Rohan that he couldn't return to the past. Rohan was very sad. When he went to work and his work was disrupted, he decided to go back and apologize to Supriya. After all, Supriya was the most injured person. When he hurried home, a tragedy happened. Supriya committed suicide. It was learned from the suicide note that Amit had come to the house again. Supriya didn't want Rohan to be sad and chose to leave this dark world with regrets about life. Rohan was immersed in the grief of losing Supriya and couldn't get out. At this this time, Emmett's brother came to Rowan and threatened Rowan. If he wants to live safe and sound, he should not tell the media anything about Emmett. Rowan understands that it is useless to rely on the police now. If you want to avenge Supriya, you can only rely on himself. He put away the sadness in his heart and started a revenge plan. A person with hatred is crazy, irrational, and desperate. Rowan first went to Emmett's private bar, familiar with the terrain. When Emmett came to the bar, he secretly recorded the voice of Emmett and the bearded man, and recorded his voice when Emmett's brother was speaking. Rowan's job is a voice actor. It is not difficult for him to imitate these voices. He practices imitating their voices every day and learns the way they speak. Voice is Rowan's best revenge tool. Everything was ready. Rowan began to implement the revenge plan. He first used the phone to instigate the relationship between Emmett and Beard. Beard became dissatisfied with Emmett. Rowan used his voice to ask Beard to come to the private bar and set up the venue. Beard came to the bar and found it turned out to be Rowan, who asked him. Of course, Rowan did not give him a chance to think. After a fight, Rowan successfully killed the Beard, disguised himself as hanging himself, and the Beard died strangely. The police found Rowan, but he did not. The evidence had to be given up. Afterwards, as the detective, Rowan asked Emmett to close his warehouse to meet him. Rowan lay in ambush in the warehouse early. When Emmett entered the door, Rowan hit him on the head with a stick, but he didn't expect Emmett to wear his helmet vigilantly. The situation is very unfavorable for Rowan, and Rowan is knocked down by Emmett. Falling to the ground, Emmett knew that Rowan could not see and used his ears to distinguish his position. He took off his shoes. Rowan couldn't hear Emmett's footsteps, but he smelled Emmett's smelly feet. Rowan immediately shot back. Emmett was tied up by Rowan. On the pillar, Rowan thought of Supriya and wanted all these people to go to hell. He imitated Emmett's voice and called his brother, and then prepared the explosion scene. Emmett's brother kicked the warehouse door with his foot and detonated at the same time. The institution and warehouse exploded, and Rowan's revenge plan was completed. Finally, there is an older brother, Scheller, who protects Emmett, who has not been punished. Rowan is thinking about revenge. The child next door begged Rowan to help imitate his parents to ask for leave. Rowan was on the phone and was heard by the inspector. He understood why these people were asked out. The reason is up. The detective asked his subordinates to check the phone location of the deceased. Only 24 hours were left for Rowan. Rowan used his real identity to make an appointment with Scheller. This time the location was the new house where he and Supriya married. He set up the venue and waited for Scheller. Scheller took the people. When he came to the venue, Rowan set up a trap to solve his assistant. Scheller picked up the gun and aimed at Rowan, but his brother died too miserably. He didn't want to let Rowan easily. The two of them started to fight. Scheller and Rowan hit him by the side of the building. If he fell down, he would definitely fall to his death. Rowan tied a safety rope and pulled Scheller to jump off the building. Rowan finally succeeded in revenge. He made the murderer who killed Supriya pay the price of his life. The detective was about to detain Rowan, and he said he would ask for evidence. Finally, it was discovered that the people nearby were blind and could not provide proof. The boss of the phone booth was also blind. Rowan took Supriya's ashes to the sea. Maybe they didn't walk together, but they were never weak. Please don't look down on blind people. They are all wise men who are blind and not blind. For love and dignity, even if the eyes cannot see things, they are still omnipotent.